Let's talk updates around Luigi Mangione, right? The suspect accused of killing UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Starting with the question of how soon is too soon for a documentary? And well, as it turns out, in the least shocking news ever, there's one already reportedly in the works. With this one coming from anonymous content and Jigsaw Productions, and it will follow the shooting as well as the response and general outrage against the healthcare system. And while reports haven't said what the timeline for the production and release would be, we're gonna have to see how this plays out alongside Luigi's case. Which regarding that case, we got some major updates over the weekend, with among other things, reports saying that Luigi has retained a high-profile attorney to represent him in New York, where he's facing a murder charge, with that lawyer notably being Karen Friedman Agnifilo, who worked as the chief assistant district attorney in Manhattan for 7 years, but now has a private practice. And well, as of right now, she hasn't given any statements about the case. You had one source telling CNN that she has, quote, as much experience as any human being, especially in the state court. And this is Thomas Dickey is still representing Luigi in Pennsylvania and has continued to indicate Luigi will not plead guilty to the counts that he's facing there, as well as the murder charge in New York. Of course, things could change, right? He also previously said that Luigi would contest his extradition to New York, but that might be changing. With us now seeing the Manhattan DA saying that he's seen indications that Luigi might waive his right to fight it, but we're not going to know for sure until tomorrow. We've also now gotten some more insight into how Luigi may have been identified, with the FBI now saying that investigators actually received a tip from San Francisco police identifying him as a potential suspect. Also, his family had previously reported Luigi missing in San Francisco, and reports say that after getting this tip, the NYPD reached out to his mother, and she said that the images shared on the potential suspect could be her son. Though currently, we don't know when that tip came in or how crucial it was in his eventual arrest. But all of this is arguably the biggest update related to this story actually has nothing to do with Luigi or his case. Instead, it has to do with a major report about UnitedHealthcare. Right, in that, because ProPublica published an investigation alleging that the company is strategically restricting and denying care for kids with autism, with the outlet reporting they obtained the company's playbook on this, which is developed by the subsidiary Optum, which manages mental health benefits at United. With specifically the article saying, in internal reports, the company acknowledges that the therapy called applied behavior analysis is the evidence-based gold standard treatment for those with medically necessary needs. But then adding that the company's costs have climbed as the number of children diagnosed with autism has ballooned. And so Optum is pursuing market-specific action plans to limit children's access to the treatment. Within the documents reportedly showing that Optum is aware that there are very long wait lists for this therapy, but they still aim to prevent new providers from joining the network and getting rid of existing ones. Which means that impacted families would have to try to find a new provider, which is incredibly hard, or pay tens of thousands of dollars for this therapy. And according to ProPublica, the company is also questioning the medical necessity of the therapy for some patients, which could lead to coverage denials. And reportedly, these strategies would specifically impact kids covered through state-contracted Medicaid plans, which United runs in about 24 states, impacting 10,000 children with autism spectrum disorder. But then is also seeing ProPublica speaking to a number of people outraged by all this, with some of them even questioning the legality of it, as there are federal laws requiring insurers to provide equal access to mental and physical care. With, for example, the founder of the Autism Legal Resource Center saying, yes, this therapy can be expensive, but solving the problem by denying kids access to medically necessary care is a terrible solution. And this is Karen Fessel, the founder of the Mental Health and Autism Insurance Project, also said that this strategy is unconscionable and immoral, and adding, they're denying access to treatment and shrinking a network at a time when they clearly know that there is an urgent need. We also saw ProPublica speaking to a mother whose son has autism and is impacted by this, with us learning that her son was 3 when he was diagnosed, and prior to that, she wondered if he would ever speak, and she couldn't take him out in public because he would just frequently scream out of frustration. But then saying after 2 years in therapy, he could start saying a few small words, and saying that by the time that he was 7, his tantrums grew less frequent and his mom could take him to the grocery store. But then also saying in periods where he had less hours of therapy, his progress regressed dramatically. And so his therapists have concluded that he needed his time increased to 33 hours a week to progress, but Optum said that it wouldn't cover those full hours, arguing instead her son hadn't shown enough progress after being in therapy for so long. But this then also notably, as experts say, that denying full hours for that reason, it makes no sense. Right, with them explaining that it's not like autism is an injury that fully recovers with enough time, and this therapy can be medically necessary for a long time just to maintain skills or prevent regression. Also, with this reporting, I do think that a key thing to mention is that ProPublica reportedly started this investigation well before UnitedHealthcare CEO was shot. This does not seem like an attempt to pile on or incite. Reportedly, they reached out to the company a month ago for the comment, and as of 11 days ago, the company still didn't respond to its questions, with them eventually then citing the killing of Brian Thompson as the reason why. Though obviously, with that, I will say this reporting is coming, as people have been calling out issues with the healthcare industry, often with United specifically. And actually, with all that, we saw the CEO of United Health Group, which is the parent company of UnitedHealthcare, trying to address this on Friday by writing an op-ed in the New York Times titled, "The healthcare system is flawed, let's fix it." That op-ed specifically focusing on Brian Thompson at some point, saying that he was always focused on helping people and fixing the system. Adding there, the ideas he advocated were aimed at making healthcare more affordable, more transparent, more intuitive, more compassionate, and more human. Saying the company is aware that the health system does not work as it should, but is, quote, willing to partner with anyone to find ways to deliver high quality care and lower costs. lost. Though I will say that op-ed did not land well, with the Times actually having to turn off comments after people lashed out, or with many just not buying that this company wants to actually help anyone and pointing to their own horror stories. And so just generally speaking, this outrage that we've seen at the industry over the last 2 weeks or so, it doesn't appear to be going anywhere, at least for the time being. And as far as what it will evolve or devolve into, that remains to be seen at this point. Hey, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this clip from the full Philip DeFranco show. And also, a big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring our Clips channel. Turn your passion into profit over at squarespace.com/Phil, or use the QR code. Because whether you're launching a business or a lucrative side hustle, your website is your digital business card. It's the only space where you control the story, no algorithms or distractions. And with Squarespace, it's so easy because they got a ton of stunning professional templates with drag and drop editing that makes site design incredibly simple, no coding required. So get started for free at squarespace.com/Phil, or scan the QR code on screen and use code Phil for 10% off when ready to launch. Squarespace.com/Phil.